Welcome back, guys and girls. So today we are talking about the right way to play Killer. How to play Killer is starting to rear its ugly head. The way Killer plays will go on forever and ever. Let's get an understanding of what the different issues are, and I will give you my 2 cents on it for what it's worth. So stay tuned, guys. Alright, to give you an example, guys, we're looking at the right way to play Killer. We've had the hooks versus kills debate, we've got camping, slugging, what's a win, hypocrisy, stubbornness, gen speed, balance, top percent, viable killers. We've had a lot. I've had my say on stuff, I've brought them up in the podcast, things like that. So let's just break down what's happened. So first of all, we look at the hooks versus kills. So that was mainly brought to light by True and Ots. I had a debate about it. I had an issue with the win streak. I was thinking, does it dilute the data? I was wrong. I wasn't shitting on people. People did accuse me of that and said I'm discrediting people. I just thought that it was like, look, this killer's great, blah, blah. But Ots said this in the debate, and he acknowledged that if he played a team with the same hours, more hours, things like that, he'd be lucky to get anywhere near them sort of streaks. So that to me finished that chapter, because that was like, yeah, okay, I get that. That's all I wanted to hear. These guys aren't saying now. We could go down a long list. You know, I know Scott John's done a win streak gameplay. We know Dowsey does them, Dylan KG. So there is people that do them, and most of the time we'll sit there and we will say, okay, yeah, but look at the survivors are playing, things like that. But these guys, as far as I'm aware, will acknowledge that. They'll acknowledge, but these guys are still playing at a higher level. You know, they've got a lot of hours in the game. They play these games, you know, this Dead by Daylight game they play day in, day out. Of course, they're going to be at a different caliber to the rest of us. That's just natural. Not discrediting them, but obviously it was nice to hear that Ott said it. I'm sure, you know, I've never heard Dowsey or Dylan KG say it, but I'm sure they'll probably both acknowledge it. However, I have also got to say that I did say it in a video before. I watched Dowsey. Ott is doing a Survivor Friends competition. He's getting mains to play his Survivor Friends team. I watched Dowsey with the twins, and that changed my mind a bit. That was like, actually, yeah, these guys can play. You know, there's no doubting their ability on that. And they're playing people at a high level, and they're doing really well. Which brings me on to the next thing, camping and slugging. This is sometimes necessary for the win condition which these people have set. So when I started playing DBD, I started off by watching True Talent. He has so many videos up. It's very hard not to come across a True Talent video if you are searching for Dead by Daylight. I started watching his videos, started seeing how he plays, and I find myself playing for hooks rather than kills. That's because I've been conditioned, I've watched him, that's how I do it. Now obviously since then I do watch some of the other guys as well, some of the other big content creators, and I try to adapt it. However, for my own play style, I find playing for hooks more fun. It's more pleasurable, that's my play style. If I'm having to play for kills, then camping and slugging has to be part of the arsenal. Dylan KG, again, I've mentioned him once, he's a great killer player. He put up a video just yesterday. He acknowledges he had to pressure a team and won because of it, because of the way he went about slugging the players, capitalising on their mistakes. He didn't go around slugging the players for the sake of it. He had to do that on what is pretty much a broken killer map, Haddonfield, and he won the game because of it. He did get a bit of shit off the survivors at the end, and it wasn't really terrible, you know. It was basically, they were saying about the slugging, but it had to be done, and he explained why he had to do it, and it was a really good match to watch. I'll link it below. Watch it and see what you think. Now, I don't do streaks, and I play for fun, so I don't feel I have to do that. However, I will acknowledge that that is available to me. It's available to all the killers out there. If I lose a game, that's on me. I can't complain about the game when the control is in my hands and I choose not to do so. So True released a video yesterday. It was about the top percentage, about it being broken. This was last night, and that was a perfect example of what he could have done. If you look at the comments, and I do feel sorry for True, because I think he's starting to get a bit on a defensive about it. He's getting attacked in his comments, things like that. Now, if you look at the comments, there's some actually really valid comments of people saying, if you done this, if you done that, it does a mistake here, there's a mistake that, and we've got to accept that that's what happens. It happens on all my videos. As soon as I release a video, I know I'm going to get a Discord message of someone who's watched a video saying, you played that shit, you done this wrong, you done that wrong. It happens, guys, and you've got to be able to accept the criticism on that. Now, with True, he is openly discussing and trying to promote his playstyle onto other people. Truly noble. He wants the game to be fun for both sides, so I totally understand that. But you then can't complain about the game. It's not the game's fault if you are not willing to compromise your own playstyle. So again, I'm going to link his video below. Watch it, see what you think. But I thought the same. Before I even read the comments, I watched the game and thought, oh, he could have done this, he could have done that. Now, he's a better player than me. Don't get me wrong. You know, he's played the game. He's a veteran of the game. Definitely a better player. But when you're out of the situation and you're looking in, you can see these mistakes that happen and think, why didn't he do that? Why didn't he do that? If he doesn't find it fun, that's noble. But then, can he really complain about the game? You know, if he's choosing not to do these things that are there to help him win the game. People are going to bring up the emblem system, things like that. He got an entity displeased on that game. Still got 2 kills. But yes, he's been punished in the game for the gens being done too quick. Did he pressure the gens enough? I don't know. Watch a game and find out yourself. Next thing we're going to discuss is about hypocrisy in the community. This is evident to see. Scott Jun made a video about it and it actually made so much sense. I've tried in the penultimate podcast to show that in a polite way. So I asked the guests to bring a video where they lost and physically show me where there was nothing they could do. It's not just hypocrisy. I also find it borders on stubbornness. So basically, guys, there is a definition out there, and the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. So if you're not prepared to change your game style, your play style, and acknowledge the mistakes that you made, then you're always going to get the same results. And these people will generally then start complaining about the game, start complaining about a balance, things like that. You're going to have to look at what you've done, look at what you can change. I do it all the time. Every single one of my gameplays, I do it. I watch it and I'm like, could have done that better, could have done this better. I am not a veteran like the guys I've spoke about, so there's going to be mistakes in my gameplay for it. Now, coming back to the balance of the game, I watched the True versus Odds debates again this afternoon, and it was discussed about early game objective. Let's look at Home Sweet Home Survive. Player base is now on around 800 players at the moment playing it. This had an early game objective, had overpowered killers, and it looks like it's dying a death. So whatever the DBD devs are doing, they're doing it really well. Can they balance around the top 1%? Now imagine a game or company saying, we're going to look after the 1%, forget about the other 99. Does that make sense? The game has to have a balance around the majority of players. Whether the majority of the players, including myself, sit in that 99%, then the game can be pretty balanced. I said to someone the other week that is the game now closer to balance than it's ever been, which is something I truly believe. And you would think I've just insulted that person's firstborn. You know, they were like, what? How can you say that? How can you say it? But it's a true statement. Is the game closer to balance than it's ever been? I believe that's a big fat yes. We shall wait and see. Is there more things that can be done? Probably. However, we have to acknowledge the mistakes we make from both Survivor and Killer gameplays. Hope that makes sense, guys. Interestingly, we now have all sorts of streaks happening. It seems to have now become the big craze to do. So we've had roads to rank 1, so we've had people smurfing, showing the skills against survivors and killers. We now have the Grandmaster Adept challenges, where you play as the killer, you don't have any perks or add-ons, and you showcase how good you are with that killer. Again, we've had people getting a lot of kills with those conditions. Is the game killer-sided? I don't think it is, but this is the issue that we have. Do we look at these and say, game's killer-sided, we need to do something about it? Ultimately, guys, it is for content. I read the comments, I see the views of these top content creators, and I can see why they do it. Call me a hypocrite, call me stubborn, but once I heard those words again used by Ott, then I got it. I was like, yeah, I completely get it. So what do you guys think? I'm going to link a couple of the videos below that I've mentioned so you can see I'm not trying to take out of context what was said. And let me answer the question, what is the right way to play a killer in Dead by Daylight? The answer has to be, guys, any way you want. If you want to go for 4Ks and you have to slug and camp, proxy camp, 3 gen, whatever you want to do, unfortunately it's about doing what you enjoy. You paid hard-earned money for the game, you do what you want. However, don't be afraid to be critical of your playstyle and change your approach if things aren't working out. Feel free to drop me a comment, guys, let me know what you think. Please don't come and attack me if you're part of the other community, because this isn't an attack on any content creator, it's just observations of things that happen. Now, if you can't have a meaningful discussion about things, then what's the point? That's always been my approach and always will be so. If you haven't also noticed, guys, if you do look on my channel, you see comments. As soon as people start shit talking content creators, I will generally not respond. So I do try to respond to all the comments because I am a small channel at the moment. However, I am not going to get engaged in shit talking any content creators in the community. Anyway, guys, let me know what you think. Let's have a sensible discussion about it. Let me know your playstyle. Have you had success with it? Do you have to adapt and change? Dead by Daylight is very unique in that no two games are the same. So when I hear people saying, oh, I just get gen rushed all the time, I just get this, it's generally a case of your play needs to be changed and suited to pressure them. Whether that be pressuring by walking up the gens, pressuring by getting hooks, pressuring by ending the chase sooner, pressuring by slugging, then it all has to be took into consideration. Alright, hope you enjoyed the video, guys. If you did, give it a quick like, and if you haven't done so, guys, and you do enjoy my content, please feel free to press that subscribe button, click the notification bell, and you will be alerted when I upload any more videos. Alright, thanks, guys.